Positive numbers x, y, and z satisfy the equations xy times x plus z plus y plus z equals to 165, xz times x plus y times z plus y equals 88, and yz times z plus x times y plus x equals 120. What is the value of x squared plus y squared plus z squared? Express your answer as a common fraction. So, in the question, if we look at the first equation, we can represent this as xy plus xy xz plus xy zy plus xy zz, which can also simplify as xy plus xz times xy plus yz. If for the second equation, we can represent this as xz plus xz xy plus xz yz plus xz yy, which we can simplify this as xz plus xy times xz plus yz. For the third equation, you can simplify this as yz plus yz xz plus yz xy plus yz xx, which can simplify to yz plus xz times yz plus xy. And each equals to 165, 88, and 120. Now, if we all look at the simplified equations, we can see some values occur twice. For example, xy plus xz for first equation also occurs in the second equation, which is also xy plus xz. Now, if we all multiply this and root it, the value will be xy plus yz times yz plus xz times xy plus xz, which is root 165 times 88 times 120. And this is 3 times 5 times 11 times 8 times 11 times 3 times 5 times 8. And then this is 3 times 5 times 8 times 11, which is equals to 1,320. And that's the value of xy plus yz times yz plus xz times xy plus xz. Now, if we look at the equation, mistake. If we look at the equation again, this is 1,320. Now we can divide this equation. Let's say this is 1 to all three equations. If we divide the first one into the first equation, the only remaining value would be xz plus yz, which is equals to 8. And then if we divide 1 into the second equation, the only remaining value will be xy plus yz, which equals to 15. And then if we divide 1 into the third equation, the only remaining value would be xy plus xz, which is also same as 11. Now, let's add these equations all of all. Then 2xy plus 2yz plus 2xz equals to 34. And then if we divide these into 2, it will be xy plus yz plus zx equals to 17. Now, let's say these equations are 2, 3, 4, and then this is 5. 5, and then if we minus the first equation, the remaining value will be xy, which is equals to 9. And then if we do the same as 3 and 4, the remaining value will be xz, which is equals to 2. And then if we minus the last one, the remaining value will be yz, which is equals to 6. And now let's say each of these are 5, 6, and 7. If we multiply 5 to 7, and then if we divide this into 6, the remaining value will be y squared. And then if we multiply 5 to 6, and then we divide this into 7, the remaining value would be x squared. And then for the last, if we multiply 6 to 7, and then divide by 5, the remaining value will be z squared. And if we calculate each one, this will be 3, x squared will be 3, y squared would be 27, and then the last one is 4 over 3. Now the question said that the value of x squared plus y squared plus z squared. Now if we add each of them, it's 3 plus 27 plus 4 over 3, which is equals to 94 over 3. Therefore, the value of x squared plus y squared plus z squared equals to 94 over 3.